Today, we're going to learn how to shift your awareness in order to do a psychic reading. One saying that has always resonated with me is where your focus goes, your energy flows. Channeling is all about shifting your awareness, connecting to something outside yourself, and learning how to interpret downloads or messages that you receive from energetic sources. So we are going to learn to put our energy and our focus on these sources rather than ourselves. And this is a change for most of us. We spend 24 hours a day with ourselves in our body, doing our things. And so it is a practice and an exercise of learning to look at things differently. So how do you shift your awareness? Let's think about perspective for a moment. I want to use the example of driving a car. When I say that you're driving a car, what does that look like? For most of us, you may see the steering wheel in front of you and see the road in front of that. Now, imagine that you're seeing yourself driving the car, but you're outside the car. You may see the car door. You may see your profile. You might see your hand on the steering wheel from a side view. Or you might even be farther away and just see the side or the back of the car. So just think about this for a minute and see if you can shift your focus so you're seeing yourself from these different perspectives, whether you're sitting in the car or whether you're outside looking at yourself sitting in the car. Let's take another example. We're going to start by focusing on your hands. Take your attention to your fingers and send a tingling feeling to them. If you focus on just your fingers, can you feel it? Do you feel a sensation? Do you feel the tingling? Just notice it. And now send your focus to your toes and send that tingling feeling there. Do you notice a sensation? Can you feel your toes tingling? You don't have to move them, just even without moving, see what you feel. And now send it back to your fingers. Just notice what it feels like to focus on your fingers. Just by choosing where you send that focus, you can affect how you feel that energy within your body. So I love going back and forth because you can see that when you move, say, to your toes, you forget about your fingers because you're not focused on them. So this is how it works with your consciousness. Where your focus goes, your energy flows. So by blurring the concentration on the physical world, more of your intuition comes through. If you really think about it, we spend most of our time in our thinking brain. We're working, we're solving problems, we're dealing with kids, trying to run errands and get things done. So we're used to that. It takes a lot of effort to start shifting into that intuitive space. And the more you practice it, the easier it gets. So when we are practicing and learning how to channel, we're gradually spending more and more time in that intuitive space. So it may not be all the time, but you shift into your intuition and you get your downloads or your messages, and then maybe you shift back. Maybe you are always getting intuitive messages. This is the case for some people where if they're open, they're constantly getting information, and that can be really overwhelming. So as you start spending more and more time in your intuition, you want to feel into what amount of time is best for you. Last weekend, I did an in-person fair where I did 11 readings, and I was completely exhausted. It took 3 days to recover, and I had very vivid dreams, and I slept a lot after that. So as an empath and an introvert, I do get drained, especially from being around a lot of people. So shifting my focus and vibration in the metaphysical realm is very special and meaningful, but it also takes a lot of energy. So one thing that can be important as part of your spiritual practice or your psychic abilities is getting in touch with yourself, knowing what's the right amount of time, what is the right effort for you to put in. And that can also mean taking care of your physical body. When you're feeling rested and feeling healthy, it is much easier to channel because it opens up the flow. It makes you more accessible. If you are sick, or if you've been staying out late every night or eating junk food, it can throw off your energy, which makes it harder possibly to get into the right state of mind to do a reading. So if you're like me, I like to have some practical knowledge or understanding about how or why things work the way that they do. So we're going to talk about shifting your focus, and I want to talk about the pineal gland. The pineal gland is considered the epicenter of our intuition. So I'm going to pull up a picture real quick. So the pineal gland's primary function is letting in light and darkness, which is basically what our eyes do. So this gland is the melatonin secreting organ containing light sensitive cells that control the circadian rhythm. So in the metaphysical world, this is also called the third eye. So when I think of the third eye, I usually think of the space on my forehead, above and between my actual eyes. The pineal gland is in the center of the head, so about 3 to 4 inches directly behind the forehead. So I like to think of it as the forehead is like the opening to the third eye, and the pineal gland is the source. So when we're channeling information, it can help to focus on the center of your head. You're reading from this intuitive space. Let's do another exercise of focusing our energy. So close your eyes and set your attention and focus on the center of your forehead, the third eye opening. Breathe in directly to this spot. What does it feel like? Take a few deep breaths into this third eye. Now we're going to do the same thing of breathing into the pineal gland. We are basically getting acquainted with this part of our head and massaging these muscles. And you might notice, like with our fingers and toes, that you feel a sensation in your forehead or in the center of your head when you focus your energy in these areas. So this is really important because when we are channeling, we are going to channel from this center. I often ask before I start for my third eye to be open and to allow information to come in. Setting intention is so important in any kind of psychic work. So just doing that alone helps you to be even more open. And I want you to know that you don't really have to try. Before reading, you can just breathe into the center of your head. You can just ask for yourself to be open. This is also part of the third eye chakra. So you may want to think about opening up that chakra, being open to anything that comes through. So when I say that we're learning to shift our awareness, this is kind of where you're going. So once you find this place that you're reading from and you're feeling open, then we can go into the process of actually receiving information. So a couple of things that I do when I am starting to read is I will imagine a blank screen. It could be like a movie screen. It could be like a TV that's turned off. And I just look at this screen and notice what shows up. So you've already shifted your awareness, and now you're putting your focus on this screen and on this other information. You may also, at this point, if you're not a visual person, you may ask the question, what do I need to know? And you may hear an answer to that. All of these things help you to shift so that you can let information in. So these are just a couple of the methods, but we are ready to start channeling, and I'm so excited to go on this journey with you.